Continuing tropical storm coverage on my radar.
Hey friends, thanks for joining us this afternoon. 5 p.m. update from the National Hurricane Center came out not too long ago, so we're here to walk you through it. And we have some good news to report. All day I've just been all smiles because I'm happy to say this system's moving through, but it's a really beneficial scenario for us. So let's get right into it. Looking at our now rad radar loop, you can see not much going on with Umberto in terms of rain. We've had some scattered showers moving across Florida. A lot of this cloud activity isolated to the eastern part of the storm. It's been a really lopsided kind of storm as it's developed here in proximity to Florida and the Bahamas. So it's been facing some struggles, but still it's expected to intensify, which hasn't quite done yet, but it has held its own. So we'll get right to this track as of the 5 p.m. advisory from the National Hurricane Center. Not much has changed with this, and it's really good when you begin to see consistency in these kinds of tropical storms that are moving particularly close to the U.S. coastline, and especially the Bahamas that are trying to do their cleanup after Dorian. And, unfortunately, there was a lot of devastation there. But the benefit here being that most of the trouble with Umberto, if we'll call it that, has been isolated away from them on the eastern side of the storm. They still had some pretty strong winds there yesterday, last night, as the storm got a little better organized. But really, best case scenario, all watches and advisories have been canceled for this storm. So nobody is under any kind of tropical storm watch, warning, hurricane, anything. So that's always a great sign. So Umberto, as of 5 p.m., sitting at 50 mile an hour max sustained winds. Pressure dropping a little bit, 1,005 millibars, so it's still not very strong, but it was stationary at the 11 a.m. advisory. Now it's picked up a little bit, and it's moving towards the northwest, northwest, at 7 miles per hour. Don't be nervous from this. It is going to get a little closer to the U.S. coastline, but we are expecting an abrupt turn to the right or to the east as we go on through the end of the weekend into the beginning of next week. So by Sunday afternoon, it comes a little bit closer to the Florida coastline and begins to intensify some more, heading into Monday, becoming a Category 1 hurricane as it recurves out into the open Atlantic, and even the potential to intensify into a Category 2 storm as it heads out into the ocean. So for now, we're not really worried about any kind of strong impacts from this storm along the eastern coastline. This is really going to be an issue for shipping interests, and maybe down the line, it's too early to say, but possibly something that people in Bermuda will need to look out for as we head into the middle part of the week. But so far, good news with this. We're very happy with what's been going on with this so far. But there have been some showers throughout Florida. It's been a little breezy, so this is what we expect as the storm moves a little bit closer to the coastline and continues moving north before it makes its turn. So this is not the best shape, kind of looks like a bean. It takes into account the displacement of the storm. So this is the wind radius for tropical storm force winds, which do extend out over 100 miles from the center, but it's on the side that's over water. So it's out on the eastern side and for a small portion of the Bahamas. But like I said, that nobody's under any watches or warnings or advisories of that sort. So great news there. Most of the punch, and I say that ambitiously because it's more bark than bite, has been over the open waters as it continues to move. Still not really a problem for us as it continues moving northward. We begin to see that intensification. So that's the orange part there, getting into the hurricane force wind kind of neighborhood. And then as it recurves out, we see a little bit more intensification, but the U.S. coastline isn't going to deal with fringe effects that we saw with Dorian, thankfully. Not even close. We will likely see just some of the swells and rough surf and what we've seen today largely along the beaches, which we do have some imagery out at the beaches we've been showing you all day. We'll take you now to South Beach. This is South Beach, Miami Beach, my old stomping grounds, and people have been out there all day just having a great time. I swear that volleyball game has been going on all day. I don't know if it's the same team out there, but they're having a great time. Plenty of people in the water, but they're all staying kind of close to shore. Things are a little choppy out there. You can see some jet skis in the background and a boat or two. Overall, not a bad beach day, but we do have double flags out there. We had a red and a purple earlier. Now we've got yellow and purple, so just something to be careful. If you're going to head out in the waters, of course, be safe. We'd have that northerly influence in the waters from Umberto. So nothing too serious, but something to be careful about. Moving further up the Florida coastline, taking you now to Cocoa Beach. Of course, these videos are courtesy of our partners at Surfline. So a little bit of white foam on the waves there. Hasn't been anything too impressive, but this kind of view is kind of typical of Cocoa Beach. We see this as you head a little further up towards the middle part of the Florida Peninsula. So a pretty good beach day out there. It was cloudier earlier, things starting to break up and get some sunshine in there. And that's definitely the case in Folly Beach, South Carolina, where this morning it was pretty cloudy, a little glum looking, and now the sun has come out this afternoon. We've seen more people head to the beach. We actually caught a glimpse of a kite flying through there this afternoon. So it is a little breezy out there. So not really a surprise, but overall good beach day. Thankfully, this storm hasn't really ruined anybody's weekend plans, so we are very grateful for that. And as we continue to head through the next couple of days, like I said, it's going to be very breezy along the southeast coast, but nothing outrageous. We'll show you now what we can expect going into the next couple of days. I'll make this bigger so you can see it. All right, there. Putting this into motion, heading through the rest of today into Sunday. So winds around 20 miles an hour, some places a little stronger, like in Daytona Beach, 29 mile per hour winds, 22 out in Fort Pierce. So getting a little sporty out there, good kite flying kind of breeze, but nothing too disruptive. Moving up the coast as Umberto moves a little closer to the southeast. Parts of South Carolina, Charleston, South Carolina, seeing 15 mile an hour winds, 19 mile an hour winds in Wilmington. And this isn't to say that we couldn't see a gust that's a little more sporty, as I'd say. It's something that a gust that approaches tropical storm force, say maybe 35, maybe 40 mile an hour gusts every now and then. But I would say it's not a big problem. It's not going to be something that we continue to see to be an impact into the beginning of our week. And of course, everybody's been concerned with what's going on with the rest of the Atlantic because we do have other stuff that we're keeping our eyes on. And this is the current scenario out there. If you've been paying attention to the National Hurricane Center's tropical outlook, the 5-day outlook, and we were showing this in earlier forecasts, we had a couple of X's out in the open Atlantic waters. And here's the thing about low pressure systems and these monsoon troughs coming off the African coast. They don't like to be close to each other. They don't like to compete for center stage. So it seems like things have really consolidated out there. We have one area of interest now that we're looking at in the open Atlantic. That's that area right here in the orange circle. So that has a 60% chance of development over the next 5 days. And then we turn our eyes to this more curb appeal looking system. That's what I've been calling it because it looks really exciting. It's got good circulation and spin. So this yellow area only has a lower chance of development over the next 5 days, 30%. This is going to continue to track westward towards Texas, and I'm not sure if it's going to have any potential to get its name as the next named storm. It may not at this point. It's very close to land. It's too early to say, but either way, it's going to bring a little bit of a breeze and some much needed rain to Texas. They got some help when Fernan was moving through. So this system will bring some welcome rain to Texas. Shouldn't really be much of a problem, but it's helped us out with Umberto because you see how close in proximity these storms are. And I'll actually show you this on water vapor where I think we can probably see this best. Now, water vapor shows you the upper part of the atmosphere, 300 millibars. So this is a TUT, tropical upper tropospheric trough. That's a lot of T's. So in the upper atmosphere, it's better organized. You see more of a low pressure system going on here, where it may not be that well organized in the middle or surface levels of the atmosphere. So water vapor shows a lot of curb appeal with this system, but it's impacting this left part or western part of Umberto in the upper levels, giving it a lot of shear, and it's helped displace a lot of this convection off to the right side or the eastern side of the storm. So it's really helped us out in terms of that. And as this moves westward, the Bermuda Ridge, or the semi-permanent high pressure ridge that lives over the Atlantic here, backs off a little bit, and our next system comes to push Umberto off to the east and out into the water. That's what we like to see. So a very welcome sight there going into the next couple of days. But overall, the tropics has a lot of good news to report, and we will happily take it. Welcome to see some of the better news coming through here. We are in the peak of hurricane season still. We're in September. That's where we see the most activity throughout the season of hurricanes, which goes until the end of November. So this is why we tell you get your kit together in the beginning of June, because we just have to keep an eye on this kind of stuff going into the next couple of months and be prepared. But I'm happy that we don't have to really buckle down this week. We have some activity out there, and thankfully it's playing ball. So we've got some good news with that. I'm always happy to report that. But of course, we're going to continue to track this stuff for you. You can always rely on us to bring you the latest information. So for now, we'll have some more updates in your fast forecast. And if anything else is noteworthy, we'll come bring it to you live here on all of our social media pages. Of course, please follow us so you can get the latest information. But for now, that's going to do it for me. I hope you guys have a wonderful Saturday. Have a great evening, everybody. Bye.